and the building excitement. The dogs howl, bark, lunge, and strain against their harnesses. Their masters are a study in concentration. The air is charged with anticipation. The crowds and TV cameras choose their vantage points carefully for this extraordinary event. The countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Finally, the flags are dropped, and another John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon race is underway. Let's follow these racing teams in their quest for a share of a $25,000 cash purse. We'll see how long months of preparation and conditioning pay off. We'll watch racing strategies unfold as the contestants push to the very edge of their endurance. Over the next 3.5 days, they'll struggle against fatigue, the weather, and over 400 miles of rugged terrain from Duluth to Grand Marais and back again. So who will finish first? Ultimately, the dogs will decide. The competition has never been greater. This year, Alaska's top sled dog marathoners challenged the best racers from the lower 48 and Canada. 3 Alaskans threatened to capture the top 3 spots. Libby Riddles, Woman Athlete of the Year, and the first female to win the Alaskan Iditarod, a 1,000-mile-plus race. Rick Swenson, a 4-time Iditarod winner. And Susan Butcher, who after several second-place finishes went on to win the Iditarod in 1986. Despite this formidable Alaskan competition, the spirit of John Beargrease will be riding with an unheralded rookie from Minnesota. John Beargrease, the race's namesake, was a courageous Chippewa Indian. His exploits at the turn of the century in getting the mail through by dog sled have made him a North Shore legend. In memory of John's heroics, each racer carries commemorative cachets marked with a special Beargrease stamp. For spectators, the Beargrease offers more opportunities for involvement than any other sled dog marathon of its kind. Throughout race week, Beargrease News is readily available on TV, radio, and in the newspapers. Prior to the race, the public has a chance to meet the mushers at a special banquet. And for those who like to get a good look at the true athletes of this event, the dogs, there's the vet check the day before the race. These dogs have been specially bred, fed, and trained to be at the absolute peak of health. The vet will give final clearance for over 500 of these exceptional animals to enter the race. All during race week, there is a brisk trade in Beargrease souvenirs and mementos, including hats, mugs, t-shirts, posters, buttons, and more. The popularity of these items is a clear indication of public interest and support of the race. Traditionally, the race begins on a midweek night, so the whole family can be there at the starting line. This start time also assures a finish sometime Saturday or Sunday, to the advantage of those who would like to see the race's exciting conclusion. Crossroads and checkpoints along the trail offer many viewing points to watch the race in progress. Food, water, vet assistance, and resting areas are available for the mushers at all checkpoints. The first checkpoint, the idle hour, usually amounts to little more than a brief pit stop for most racers. They'll stop long enough to pick up a piece of equipment or a ration of food, and then it's on to the next checkpoint 45 miles further up the trail. At Highway 2, Finland, and the Sawbill Trail checkpoints, racers will stop to rest anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. These checkpoints also become mini festivals with bonfires, broomball, and generous supplies of food and refreshments on hand. Dog handlers and media and fans follow their favorites from checkpoint to checkpoint. Even those at home can easily keep track of the leaders. Sportscast and sports pages are dominated by Beargrease updates. During the course of the race, some mushers run their dogs hard and rest often. Others go at a slower pace, letting others break trail and rest less often. Knowing when to rest, when to run, trying to outguess the competition and get the best performance from the dogs, well, that's all part of race strategy. The North Shore State Trail provides a snow highway for the racers. Here, the home teams have the definite advantage over the Alaskans. That's because they know the trail.
It'll help some. I know you get on long stretches and you wonder where in the world you are, and I will personally know that there's 5 or 7 or half a mile left. And that's going to help, plus I can gear myself to the terrain, and they really can't do that on their first time over the course.
After the Skyport Lodge checkpoint, the mushers reach the halfway point, Grand Marais. Here, there is a mandatory 8-hour layover. Linwood Fieldler of Montana is the first musher in.
Let me take a picture.
Yeah, we'll take our picture. That'll be on the beer can. The finish, right? Oh, we'll be there.
Close behind are Robin Jacobson of Squaw Lake, Minnesota, and Alaskans Susan Butcher and Libby Riddles.
Well, that's what I expected it to be. I thought the Alaskans would be ahead of me, and I'd just be chasing them, but I found that out earlier in the race before 2 harbors that Butcher couldn't really leave me, so I thought I'd give him a run and see if I couldn't gain some time on him.
Well, it's real different from my Iditarod, but I've run quite a few 300 and 400 mile races, and the trail's harder and faster than anything that I've been on for this long of a time. You get a pretty hard, fast, really nice trail the whole way.
So what do you think of the North Shore Trail?
Oh, it's pretty good. Sure is marked better than Iditarod.
No problem with the hills?
No, it's tougher on the driver than it is on the dogs, I think.
Meanwhile, Rick Swenson, the other pre-race favorite from Alaska, drops out of the race. The father of the Alaskan Iditarod, Joe Reddington Sr., is still in the running at the halfway mark and is impressed with what he's seen so far.
Well, I think it's great. It's a good, fast race. And my dogs are starting to perform a lot better now. So I think it's going to be a real good race.
After resting their dogs the mandatory 8 hours, the racers immediately begin the return trip to Duluth. It's back through the Skyport Lodge checkpoint and then on to the one in Tofte. Here, dogs rest in the shadows while handlers and mushers talk race tactics and check up on how the competition is doing. By the time each musher reaches Finland on the final leg of the finish, sleeplessness starts to take its toll. Rest is just too hard to resist, so most rest. Then it's on to Beaver Bay, home and burial site of John Beargrease. Each racer visits the Beargrease gravesite in tribute and listens to a special eulogy. Here, Linwood Fielder listens patiently, but still must be eager to regain the lead after relinquishing it to Robin Jacobson. Susan Butcher is close behind. Highway 2, a mandatory 4-hour layover checkpoint, just 50 miles from the finish. The vets are here to check over the animals one more time. Each racer must have at least 5 dogs to be a qualified finisher. None of the dogs can be replaced by another at any time. Jacobson leads with 6, Butcher with 10. Road crossings become more frequent in the home stretch. Thousands gather at the finish line. TV cameras and reporters are poised. Horns and cheers greet the winner. It's 22-year-old Robin Jacobson, the rookie from Squaw Lake, originally Minnetonka, Minnesota. Last year's winner, John Patton, is one of the first to offer congratulations. Susan Butcher of Alaska has to settle for second.
What's the secret?
I don't know. I just kept going. Dogs are tougher than I am, so I guess that's how I did it.
Did you have any problems at all, Robin?
No. Pretty flawless.
Yeah, it was. It was beautiful country and a nice race, I thought, all around.
Besides a January thaw, the John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon has given thousands of Northlanders something to look forward to during the first month of the year. And each year, the race becomes more competitive, draws more media coverage, and steadily grows in stature and reputation. Truly, there isn't another like it anywhere. This January, be part of a legend. Be part of the John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon.